Hello folks, welcome back to the Folklore of Being. This is another episode of Britain's Ghosts, Superstitions and Myths, and we are still in the southwest of England, and we're looking at Somerset and Dorset. So we'll start with Somerset and its customs. In Hinton St George, on the last Thursday in October, the village children went about begging for candles which would be used to light carved mangel wurzels known as punkies. Now, mangel wurzels are a type of beet, and they would carve faces, houses and trees into them, and then they would carry them around while singing traditional songs. If this is sounding familiar, that is because this tradition may be linked with the Celtic festival of Samhain and the fires that were lit during this time of year. What would a Folklore of Being episode be if there weren't more omens in it? And bees are back again as death omens, but those from Somersetshire believe that bees swarming down the chimney was another sign of death. And if a bumblebee flew at your living room window, then it meant that a stranger was coming to visit. And another death omen in Somerset is that if the death bell of a church rings and sounds dull, it will have occasion to ring again before the year is out. And two superstitions about the dying shared with Devonshire is that anything with locks and hinges must be unlocked or opened, otherwise evil spirits will snatch the departing soul and cram them into these places. Or that having anything locked, knotted or closed in the room of the dying will, like the floorboards, prevent the passage of death. So all boxes, cupboards, locks, clocks, mirrors and any other objects must be in some way moved or manipulated in order to protect the departing spirit and the living. Now it's time for some more ghosts, and an old manor in Somerset was haunted by the headless apparition of a woman. She would always be seen floating down the stairs carrying her head in her arms. The manor house would see many tenants come and go in its life until a brave tenant moved in. He went about knocking on the manor walls looking for, he rightly suspected, a hollow place where a body would be hidden. Finding no luck in the walls, he went to the very place where the headless ghost haunted, and sure enough, one of the stairs was hollow, and the dusty corpse was in there with her head in her lap. A priest was called to the house, and the body was removed and given proper burial, and of course she was at peace, and the haunting stopped. And now we'll probably do a little zoom in to Dorset, and on Shrove Tuesday, the freemen of the ancient order of Purbeck Marblers gathered at the castle to welcome in the new members. A game of football was then played from the castle to Swanage and back again. This custom is to preserve an ancient right-of-way to Swanage Harbour. Now back to omens, and you're going to probably be shocked because it's not a death omen. Okay, so when a fire is down to embers and suddenly blazes into flame without being blown upon, it is a sign that the stranger will come to visit. A phrase to describe this goes, when it burns without blowing, you'll have company without knowing. I had to stop for a little giggle break. Oh no, okay, I will try my best. Okay, ghosts. Alfreton House. Alfreton House is over 500 years old, and it has a plethora of cliché ghosts, including a headless man, a grey lady, and of course, a black monk. The house was lived in by the Martin family from between 1350 and 1595, and they were devoted Catholics. So the black monk is attributed to a priest who may have been hidden in a priest hole and died there. But there is another strange apparition that is said to haunt the house. The apparition of a pet ape is seen roaming the house, and it is said that it too died in the priest hole. Flowers Barrow is an ancient hill fort at the western end of Purbeck Hills. It became a Roman fort during their occupation, and it is the Roman legion who is thought to haunt there. In 1678, Roman soldiers were seen marching along the Ridgeway and continued to be seen by people, with many sightings during the World War. The last known sighting came in 1970. Kingston Village has an 18th century inn known as the Scott Arms, and it is haunted by the ghost of an old lady who was seen sitting at the bar drinking after closing time and has been seen standing at the foot of guests' beds. The original history of the ghost is unknown, but she was probably a regular. I would guess a regular, because I've worked in a bar and some people, they hold down the same place and they're there from opening to closing and beyond. So now, the last and final one, I believe, is Woodridge Manor. Now, this house sits on the north side of Wall Bridge, an ancient crossing across the River Frome. It was once owned by the Turberville family, and it's this family that a phantom horse and coach haunts. It can be seen riding out from the manor at twilight, but it can only be seen of those of Turberville blood. And they will wish that they did not see this spectral sight. Come on, I can hear you saying it with me. Because to see the horse and coach is to be foretold of, you got it, death. So, in the 1970s, a bus driver was heard to say that he could not move the bus until the horse and coach had moved out of his way, meaning that he must have had some Turberville blood. Okay, my lovely folks, that is the end of this video, and I'll visit to Devon, Somerset and Dorset, and then we'll be heading down to Cornwall. Now, I'm not quite sure what the pattern for where I'm visiting is. I think it's kind of like it went down, round, and I was going to go up. But if you want to hear some folklore from your end of your county where you are, just pop it in the comments below, and then I will make a video on it rather than just me deciding where I go. You can decide where I go in the next episode of Britain's Ghosts, Superstitions and Myths. And I will end this with saying I will be probably taking the customs out of this episode and leaving it to like the rest, the ghosts, the omens and the superstitions and the divinations, because I think the customs will be more fitting somewhere else. And before I ramble on at you, I'm going to say goodbye for now. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good night, a good day or a good afternoon, whatever it is where you are now. Bye bye.